Welcome to VIP Auto. Today we're doing a full, uncompromising deep dive on the 2026 Rolls-Royce Phantom Long, the flagship that defines modern ultra-luxury. This is not a gloss over. I'll walk you through what changed, what stayed sacred, the engineering that whispers rather than shouts, the cabin details your clients will actually notice, and the ownership realities that matter when a car costs more than most houses. Expect crisp facts, real-world perspective, and clear buying guidance, delivered in plain terms, the way a pro would brief a buyer, a chauffeur, or a collector. Let's begin with the big mechanical headline. The Phantom Long remains built around Rolls-Royce's refined twin-turbo V12. This unit, hand-assembled, softly tuned, and engineered for effortless torque rather than headline revs, produces the kind of linear, hushed thrust the marque has long made its hallmark. For the Phantom models in the 2025-2026 range, that V12 is in the 7-liter tally and is rated in the mid-500s horsepower with torque figures well into the high hundreds of lb-ft. The point isn't raw G-force. It's the way acceleration feels like a carpet being rolled under you. Smooth, authoritative, unnervingly calm. Official Rolls-Royce technical pages and long-form road tests document these outputs and the engine's behavior in detail. Exterior design for the Long version is conservative by modern sports car standards, but radical in its craft. The Phantom Long stretches the wheelbase to prioritize rear seat sanctuary. Longer rear doors, a recontoured rear cabin slab, and coach-like proportions that read status and presence from many yards away. Rolls keeps the signature Pantheon grille and the spirit of ecstasy, but refines lighting signatures and surface transitions, so reflections read like an oil painting. That matters because at this price, customers care about how reflections behave across a panel more than peak horsepower. Subtle updates from recent model years include refreshed grille geometry, slightly revised headlamp graphics, and bespoke options that can dramatically change the car's face when a client chooses two-tone paint, pinstriping, or unique veneers. Inside, the Long's raison d'etre is serenity. Rear seat ergonomics are purpose-built. Extended knee room, more pronounced recline, thicker cushions, heavier armrests, and options such as a chilled compartment, dedicated infotainment tablets, and electrically operated rear tables. The materials palette is bespoke to the extreme. Hides, open-pore veneers, and hand-stitched leathers assembled by craftsmen. Real wood is book-matched across dashboards. In many commissions, you'll see marquetry that took weeks to prepare. Rolls-Royce also pushes acoustic engineering further. Triple seal doors, additional glazing, and refined insulation layers produce the library silence the brand advertises. The experience is less about flashy screens and more about tactile quality and micro details such as the weight of a switch, the gap of a veneer, and the muffled click of a door latch. Technology arrives in a careful, purpose-driven way. You get modern conveniences, digital driver displays, a responsive infotainment stack, wireless smartphone integration, and options like a head-up display, but they're integrated with restraint. Rolls doesn't throw a dozen consumer features at the cabin for the sake of spec sheets. Instead, the tech is tuned to enhance comfort and reduce friction. Notably, the suspension uses advanced camera-assisted predictive damping and pothole spotting that anticipates road changes so the Phantom glides over imperfections rather than reacting to them. That system, combined with adaptive air springs and a sophisticated anti-roll setup, keeps passengers insulated even when roads are poor. Performance and everyday drivability deserve straightforward treatment. Despite its mass, the Phantom Long accelerates with near-luxury sports car alacrity because of the torquey V12 and an 8-speed automatic that swaps cogs crisply and unobtrusively. Quoted 0 to 60 times are brisk for a car of this size, and real-world driving reveals the Phantom's best skill: composure. Handling is never sporty by design. This is about poise, not piste. Steering is weighted for confidence at speed, and the chassis is tuned to flatten bumps rather than reward corner carving. If you want a dynamic driving toy, a tailored Bentley flying spur, or a performance sedan will be more engaging. The Phantom's appeal is the way it makes speed feel like soft motion. Now, practical ownership notes. Pricing for a factory Phantom. Long or extended wheelbase starts well into six figures. Base marks quoted in the mid-400K to 600K band depending on spec and region, with typical bespoke commissions driving final invoices far higher. Rolls-Royce's limited production and the highly personalized bespoke program mean that list price is often just the beginning. Real builds commonly exceed the starting MSRP by tens of thousands, if not more. Warranty and servicing packages vary by market. Rolls-Royce typically offers comprehensive coverage and tailored maintenance plans, but you should model maintenance costs and expected depreciation carefully if you're advising a buyer or structuring a fleet acquisition. Who is the Phantom Long made for? It's for clients who want presence, ultimate rear seat comfort, and a singular ownership experience. It is not a value proposition in the typical sense. It's a commission, a private object that represents status, taste, and a lifetime of ownership stories. Buyers who will be chauffeur-driven prioritize rear space, connectivity, and silent comfort. Owners who drive themselves often favor the standard Phantom for slightly crisper steering geometry, or choose specific trims and wheel sizes to tune handling versus ride balance. Let's pause for one targeted question to get your perspective. If you were commissioning a Phantom Long, would you prioritize the pure rear seat sanctuary, extended long, or choose the standard wheelbase to keep slightly firmer handling? Comment below your thoughts. Back to specifics. Paint, trim, and customization. Rolls-Royce's Bespoke program is effectively a second company. Custom colors, lacquer finishes, embroidered crests, contrast piping, and even inlaid precious metals in the fascia are possible. From a production standpoint, bespoke paint and detailing add weeks to lead times and meaningful cost. Production planning should be part of the buyer's timeline. For advisors and brokers, recommend clear priorities to clients before ordering. Do they want a unique color that's recognizably one-off? Or a highly detailed interior with poetry in the stitching? Both are possible, but mixing extremes can complicate delivery and increase holding costs. Tech and luxury options to consider for a serious commission. The rear lounge pack, massaging and ventilated rear seats, chilled compartment with glassware, rear entertainment screens with dedicated OS, bespoke veneering, Starlight Headliner with custom constellations or patterns, and unique wheel finishes. From a safety and convenience angle, include lane support systems and adaptive cruise as a baseline. They're unobtrusive and add real utility, especially for chauffeur operations. Resale and fleet considerations. Phantoms hold their cachet, better than most cars, but spec choices heavily influence resale. Limited run colorways, celebrity-owned provenance, or ultra-exotic bespoke features can either boost desirability for collectors or narrow the buyer pool. For corporate fleets and concierge services, prioritize neutral palettes, standard specs, packages, and dealer-supported maintenance plans to maximize remarketing potential. On the service and logistical side, Rolls-Royce buyers benefit from an intimate dealer network and white-glove handover processes. However, because centers are few and vehicle systems are specialized, service scheduling, transport logistics, and qualified technicians should be coordinated well ahead of any travel plans. Some regions offer on-site valet servicing. Others may require transit to the nearest Rolls-Royce service center. Factor that into any ownership or fleet plan. A few comparison notes. Against the Bentley Flying Spur or Mercedes-Maybach S-Class, The Phantom Long trades pure driver engagement for an elevated rear seat sanctuary and handcrafted attention. Bentley leans more sporting in chassis tune and exterior drama. Maybach offers tech and brand cachet with different value trade-offs. If your brief is maximal rear seat luxury and bespoke identity, the Phantom Long is very difficult to beat. Final buying checklist for VIP auto clients and serious shoppers. Decide wheelbase early. Standard versus long shot extended. It changes the car's usage profile. Lock paint and major interior options early. They materially affect timelines. 3. Test specific wheel-tire combos for your climate. Large alloys look dramatic but affect ride and road noise. Confirm maintenance plans and service intervals with your local Rolls-Royce dealer. If resale is a consideration, prioritize timeless colorways and avoid extreme personalizations that narrow the buyer pool. Bottom line, the 2026 Rolls-Royce Phantom Long is less a vehicle and more a commissioned experience. Engineered silence, spectacular rear seat comfort, and infinite personal expression through bespoke options. For anyone who values presence, handcrafted materials, and a cabin that rearranges the meaning of comfort, this is the flagship to consider. Subscribe to VIP Auto for weekly, data-backed, no-nonsense luxury car briefings and buyer's guides.